Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful, and we're beautiful, and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of people that are talking about why Dragon Age the Veilguard's dialogue was so shockingly inept, why it was so completely and totally shit. And I think this is a case of looking at cause and effect. You look at one series of actions, one series of behaviors, and it can indicate which way a certain project or a certain idea is going to go. Now, I'm going to show you something real quick. This is the writer for Dragon Age the Veilguard in 2012. And actually, he is somebody that did a fairly competent job. And look, he looks fairly normal. You look at this guy and he looks unassuming. He looks like a video game content creator. There's nothing about him that would suggest the major issues that lay underneath. Now, this is him in 2024. So a 12-year span. Now, the difference in that time, we can see the de-evolution take place in real time. We can see the fact that this guy's work has become an embarrassment. It's become shockingly incompetent. To the point where it's almost hard to believe that these are the same people. But they are. This is Patrick Weeks, for those who don't know. And he definitely lives up to his name, Week. So, examining this guy, what can we learn from somebody like him? Just on an initial glance, his hair is blue, which is a troubling, revelation already. However, would it surprise any of you to find out that this guy was a deranged anti-Trump guy that went on a retweeting spree of vile posts in the wake of Donald Trump winning, or not even winning, but in the early build-up to the election. So the election is taking place on the 5th. This guy is retweeting this like a week before. So here we have Dragon Age the Veilguard lead writer Patrick Weeks melts down after Donald Trump's win for the U.S. presidency. This is something that he reposted on the platform Blue Sky, which is basically a place for mentally ill communists and other degenerates to go after Elon Musk bought Twitter. So, Rust Belt Rebel says, Lawrence O'Donnell talking about how the Electoral College is a massive voter suppression technique, and it enrages me that we're still being, he meant to say being, controlled by white fucking enslavers centuries later. So this guy is obviously mentally retarded, mentally ill, just completely off the reservation. All white people refuse to even murmur the words white supremacist. Well, okay. First of all, Donald Trump won the popular vote. But by the way, there's a reason why we don't use the popular vote. We are not a direct democracy. We are a constitutional republic. Now, my response to this disgusting freak, who's obviously extremely low IQ, is if you don't like this country and the way that its elections are run, you could either petition the government to put in new laws, which is what you tried to do in 2020 when you cheated the election. You enacted laws unconstitutionally, not with the legislature. It was a novel way of voting, a novel concept with novel laws. And then on top of that, you blame white fucking enslavers. So you obviously have a contempt for the founding of this country, and you want to talk about white supremacy. Patrick Weeks reposted this. Let me just repeat that. If you want to know why the writing is so shockingly terrible, because something happened to this guy where he lost about 60 IQ points minimum. He went from being a normal looking person to this thing. He went from looking like a normal guy, relatively normal, to this. Of course, on Twitter and everywhere else, he's got they, them in the bio, rainbow flags, all the terrible markers, and just reposting things for the Harris campaign, talking about -2% for being black, -2% for being a woman. That's all it took to make it this close. It is, in fact, not over. This guy goes on and he's reposting things. Do not obey in advance. This guy is posting mentally ill garbage. And I think it really is reflective of somebody like this. It's reflective of somebody who would write a character like this. I don't know about you, but I think that we can start to see that it's not just the executives. It is a culture and an environment where this person is allowed to flourish. Now, I'll just say right off the bat that this guy, he was never, ever as talented as some of the other writers in that particular genre of writing. Some of these, like Star Wars: The Old Republic, for example. Let me look up. Let me look up real quick. Like, for example, Drew Carpathian, who wrote the Revan books, who was the writer for Knights of the Old Republic, is so much more talented than Patrick Weeks. It's honestly criminal to even mention them in the same sentence. Even at his best, he wasn't at the level of Drew Carpathian. This guy is somebody that decided to go all in on the identity politics, and it has cost BioWare their reputation, money, and it wasn't just an immediate process. It's sort of like in 2012, this guy looked relatively normal. And now we see that behind the scenes, there was this person that eventually came out. And really, there should have been enough leadership, there should have been enough structure to suppress whatever this shit is. And that's the thing. Being your authentic, true self, as you say, no, it's not always the best option. Because if this is who you were the whole time, you would be better served, the company would be better served, we'd all be better served if you kept that shit inside. Because this is ridiculous. You think that people want to play as Tosh? Tosh is one of the worst characters I've seen in a while. Now, this guy is Trump deranged. It's no surprise to anyone. You take a look at his trend on Twitter, and it's just filled with people pointing out the obvious. Here we've got this guy, the main writer in 2012. He wrote Mordin Solus in Mass Effect 2. Mordin Solus, people loved Mordin. This was Patrick Weeks. The main writer in 2024, Rick Weeks, non-binary. It is a cult. It is a cult that makes you less intelligent, makes you a freak, makes you retarded. This guy wrote Mordin Solus, a very well-written character. This guy wrote Tosh. We look, and here we go. Why every time you hear accountability is some effing freak who failed at life as a man, so he dyes his hair and now expects everyone to call him a woman? That's a pretty valid point. Oh, and this is my favorite. You've got the people, the freaks who are coping with this. So tell me you've never played a Dragon Age game. Tell me you've never played a Dragon Age game. Patrick Week has been there for 20 years. No, no, Patrick Weeks is not. Trick Weeks, which is this thing, somewhere along the lines took over. Maybe his brain melted due to EA. But also every game since Origins has had queer characters in it. Which, by the way, I think so did Origins. I think the elf may have been homosexual, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I never romanced a man because I'm not, you know, not gross, not homosexual. But yeah, this person is not the same person that wrote those games. They may have the same name, but they're not at the same level. Dragon Age: The Veilguard lead writer melts down after Donald Trump wins the election. Oh my God, this is. Oh, I wish I could make this the thumbnail. This is. Oh my God, this is so perfect. Maybe if I edit this, so that. But yeah, no, this is absolutely true. This is absolutely true. This is. Let me retweet that. That's fantastic. That's. Oh man. F you, BioWare. F you, Patrick Weeks. This game shits on lore more than just what non-fans are remarking about. But if the Golden City was an ancient elven place, then the Maker didn't build it. The elves did. I mean, yeah. For anyone wondering where queer... okay. Makes sense why it's trash. Oh, yeah, by the way. For those who are wondering, this person announced they got approved to work on Dragon Age: The Veilguard. This is the same person, by the way, who we looked at before, who had the picture with the blue hair. We just looked at them. Oh, by the way, this is Patrick Weeks. This is their bio. Here's what I had to say about this. No, this was about a week ago. It's always disgusting freaks like this who are equal parts untalented, narcissistic, and retarded who ruin the projects that were built and created by actual talented people. Patrick Weeks and people like him should be ashamed. You may have just helped to sink BioWare for good. And here's the thing. This is important to understand. How good you were in the past means nothing. You are only as good as your last project. I can say when I was growing up as a kid, I loved The Rock. I thought The Rock was fantastic. The Rock today is a joke. He's the guy that goes and talks with Oprah, about, the disaster in Hawaii. He's a guy who constantly has to say he's eating In-N-Out for the first time. This is somebody that has become a shell of their former self. He's become Dwayne. Just like this guy has become Trick. My point in all this is we can see the cause and effect. We can see that the culture at BioWare has been degraded to the point where you have people like that are not being managed. They need to be managed, micromanaged even. They need to be put in a position where they can have the best chance of succeeding. The best chance of succeeding in this particular case is to make sure all of the they, them shit, all of the rainbow shit, all the disgusting degenerate filth, the demonic, self-worshipping, self-flagellating nonsense, gone. Every time they introduce something like that, it's obliterated in an instant. No, we're not doing that. It's gone. Go back and do it again. Oh, you want to hire Lauren Dale Kate? Whatever the hell that freak's name is? No, we're not doing that. That's a terrible idea. You need to start managing these people, because obviously letting them be themselves was a giant mistake. And so is it any wonder that this person melted down at Trump's victory? Started retweeting people that are calling American, white colonizers, enslavers, oppressors. That's the most low IQ cult shit I've ever seen. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's pretty clear. There is a correlation between people with mental illness and those who hate Donald Trump. Not disagree with Trump, hate him. Vehemently hate him. I have another video on this, on the celebrity meltdown over Trump. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in, supporting the channel, as you have been. And I'm sorry for fans of Mass Effect. This guy's working on that too, and I don't see it getting any better. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.